aspirants, I welcome you all to editorial analysis of Shankar IAS Academy. Let's look into the list of articles that we are going to discuss today. In this first topic, we'll be discussing about India's current population and the functioning of National Family Planning Program. And in the second article, we'll be discussing about the topic GDP, the slowing down of GDP, reasons for it, and what will it have an impact on our economy and how it can be rectified. So without any delay, let us get into the topic discussion. Now look at this topic about population growth in India. See, the National Program for Family Planning has started in India in 1952 itself, and currently it is shifting its focus more on stabilizing the population instead of focusing on maternal and child health. So this is what the topic is entirely talking about, and it also talks about vasectomy when it comes to population stabilization. So from the mains perspective, let us understand what is this vasectomy and what are the challenges in undergoing this particular procedure. Before that, I have a mains question for you. You can write answer for this particular question and post it in the comment section. Let me read out the question. The disappropriate burden of family planning on women reflects the deep-rooted patriarchy in Indian society. Discuss how cultural and societal factors influence the acceptance of vasectomies in India. So you can write an answer for 15 marker to 50 words and post it in the comment section. We will be reviewing your answer. So we shall start with what is this vasectomy. See, when it comes to sterilization, it is done in larger percentage to women compared to men. So when we talk about female sterilization, it is dominated at 37.9%. But when it comes to family planning, it is not done from the male point. So the family planning procedure that is done to the male is known as the vasectomy, and it is very popular during the 1966 to 70s period. Nearly 80.5% of sterilization of vasectomy has been done. But currently, as per the NFHS 5 report in 2019 to 2021, it has declined to 0.3%. So if you are asking what is this particular procedure is about, see, when it comes to male reproductive organ, there is semen and there is sperm. The sperm, it comes from testicles, and the semen is produced by majority of the male reproductive organ. So the sperm uses semen as a transporting medium in order to inject itself into an egg. So what happens in this vasectomy is that the vessel that transmits this particular sperm from the testicles to the semen, it will be blocked. So what happens is, even after this procedure, the male who undergone this particular family planning, he will be producing the semen, but the sperm will not be there in that particular semen. So this means that even when the man is sexually active, he cannot produce offspring. So this is only is known as vasectomy. But this kind of sterilization, it is not done in men in the current rate. That is what this particular data is trying to convey. And a lot of burden is put on the female, especially in hospitals. After the 2 kids, during the operation itself, it has been insisted to the female to undergo this particular family planning, but it is not being suggested for the male. And there is also certain policy gaps. For example, National Health Policy 2017, it aims for 30% male sterilization, but it has not been achieved so far. I hope now you can understand what does this line actually mean. The disappropriate burden of family planning on women reflects the deep-rooted patriarchy in Indian society. So this is the background about this vasectomy. Now let us quickly go through the challenges to adopt this particular procedure. See, the first thing is the cultural and societal barrier. See, the patriarchal norms place family planning on women and not on men. So it is kind of social conditioning. And there is also a misconception about vasectomy that it will affect the libido. Libido is nothing but the sexual drive to have a sexual activity. But I said as earlier, it is not going to affect your sexual drive. It is just preventing you from having an offspring. Then the important challenge is the service delivery issues. There are certain inefficient skill providers in the rural areas where the program must be implemented in a stricter phase. And there is also limited awareness among the healthcare workers about this no scalpel vasectomies. So this is the second major issue, and the third major issue is the lack of awareness. See, there are unaware of the safety and simplicity of this vasectomies, and a larger population, they do not have this awareness of cash incentive that has been provided for this particular procedure, especially in the rural areas. So these are all very important challenges when it comes to adoption of this vasectomy procedure. So here comes the question, what will be the solution? We can suggest certain solutions here. Firstly, early education and awareness. We can bring sensitization in the school level itself by bringing a lot of discussion on this particular topic, and we can bring in community campaign to debunk myth about this vasectomies. Secondly, we can bring a lot of financial incentives. We can increase the cash rewards for the male participants. It is actually successful in states like Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. We can even implement this in Uttar Pradesh as well. And we have to also publicize incentives in the local and tribal areas. Thirdly, we have to strengthen the healthcare infrastructure. So what is the point if the awareness is there and there is no proper skilled workers? So we have to train the healthcare professionals for no scalpel vasectomies, and we have to conduct government sponsored camps in underserved regions. Okay, and most importantly, we have to let know that such an option is available even for men and not only for the women. So instead of a doctor going and advising a women to have this particular family planning program during the childbirth, we can call the men also. We can give the option to both of them, and then we can ask for who can undergo for this particular procedure. So this should be implemented in the grassroots level itself in each labor ward, and that is where the change actually begins. And finally, we have to also learn from the global success stories, especially from the South Korea, where there is high vasectomy prevalence through progressive norms, and we have to learn from Bhutan, where is improved acceptance through government run camps, and there is Brazil, where increased awareness through mass media campaigns. So we have to learn from the global success stories as well when it comes to vasectomies. So far we saw about what is this vasectomy and what are the challenges in adopting this particular procedure and what are the solutions to it. So to conclude, we can tell that population management and stabilization is not only on the female part but also on the male part. And even here the patriarchy is in the hinder side, which should be rectified through government initiatives and awarenesses. So with these learned points, now let us move on to the next news article discussion. This topic talks about GDP, or the gross domestic product. So for those who don't know, gross domestic product is nothing but the quantity of goods and services produced in a country within a given period of time. So this time is usually 1 year. So when we talk about GDP, it is the amount of goods and services produced within a territory of a country in a particular year. So according to the topic, this GDP has been declined in the recent time. So let us understand what is the reason behind it and how it can be tackled from the mains perspective. Before that, I have a mains question for you. Let me read out the question. Despite various global and domestic challenges, India aims to maintain robust economic growth through structural reforms and sectoral initiatives. Analyze. So you can write answer for 15 marker and 250 words, and you can post it in the comment section. We will be reviewing your answer. So let's start with what is the reason for the decline. See, here you can see the data for the actual decline of the GDP. If you can see, it has declined from 6.7% to 5.4% in July to September 2024. There are two main contributors for this particular slowdown. Firstly, the quarrying and mining. It has been declined due to the extended or disrupted monsoon during the second half of the year. And the second important reason is the decline in manufacturing. If you ask why there is decline in manufacturing, there is subdued demand and there is import competition happening in the region. And also there is a decline in public capital expenditure. For those who don't know, public capital expenditure is creating tangible long-term assets, which includes laying roads, building airports, building bus stops. So those kinds of public capital expenditure. Apart from this, there are also global factors like high interest rate. Due to the higher interest rate around the globe, exports has been declined, and there are also investment challenges due to the exchange rate differences. So here comes the question, what can be done to improve this particular situation? See, the first thing is we have to boost manufacturing. This should be done by addressing the import dumping and incentivizing growth sectors. So for this only, government has the production linked incentive or the PLI. PLI can be boosted in specific sectors which can lead to robust economic outcomes. Second thing is that we have to focus on the public incentive or the public investment. We have to revive the capital expenditure for job and infrastructure. Thirdly, we have to enhance exports, especially we have to diversify the market and focus more on high value goods. Especially we have to focus on the food processing industry. It is actually a booming industry in India and it is agri based. So it is not only going to enhance the exports but also going to help the farmer to double their income. And the fourth important thing is bringing policy reforms. We can simplify labor or tax regulation for hiring and investment. So this will actually enhance the chances to take in a lot of new hires into the job. Fifthly, we have to support MSME through this financial and policy support for production and jobs. And finally, we have to promote consumption by boosting household income and spending. So all this has to be done without increasing the inflation. So this is the very important challenge. And for that to happen, we have to start from the public investment. So if public investment is there, along with the policy incentive, like a reduction in the compliance of any particular business and enabling the ease of doing business, if both of them combine, there will be job creation leading to household income generation, and ultimately this will lead to increased GDP. And this is how the cycle actually works. Here you can see certain important government initiatives that has been taken when it comes to GDP. First thing is the PLI scheme. So this scheme is very important because the incentive is provided based on the amount of production that has been done. And the second important thing is Make in India 2.0. This will transform India into a global manufacturing hub. So we are actually inviting a lot of FDI to manufacture in India and then export. And the second important initiative with respect to the infrastructure development is this PM Gati Shakti. For those who don't know, it is like linking lot of ministries together. So priorly they will be laying the road, and then the PWD, they will be coming in to just digging the road for repairing a particular pipe that has been laid beneath this newly laid road. So this happens because there is a lack of coordination and connection between various departments, and that is solved by this PM Gati Shakti scheme by providing the proper connectivity between different departments and dissemination of information. So this will not only bring in a lot of infrastructure and streamline the process, but also brings ease of doing business. And there is also Bharatmala and Saharmala project. This will improve roads and port connectivity. And there are certain initiatives that has been taken for ease of doing business. For example, the Jan Viswash Act. The bill has been turned into Act in 2023. This has reduced compliance burden on the businesses. It includes a lot of acts. Even the Postal Act is there in this particular act. So certain acts has been decriminalized and certain burden has been reduced in order to bring in the ease of doing business. And there is also Digital India, where modernized services and digital literacy is actually promoted. And for skill development, we have a Skill India program and eShram portal. See, this eShram portal, it is like a portal for unorganized sector. So any person who is working in this unorganized sector will get social security from this particular portal. So it also leads to skill development and providing or bringing a larger population into a social security scheme. And we have to also focus on the national green hydrogen mission. This will bring energy transition, will reduce import dependency on the fossil and fuels. And there is also climate finance taxonomies, like we have to drive sustainability and we have to bring low carbon economy. So this green hydrogen mission or driving towards the sustainability is also a thriving sector in our economy. So we have to focus all these sectors in order to improve the slowing down GDP. So far we saw about the basics about GDP, and we saw what is the reason for the current slowdown in GDP and what can be done. And then we saw certain government initiatives that you have to remember when it comes to GDP and incentivizing it. So with this, we came to the end of the news article discussion. If you like the video, hit like, do comment, and don't forget to subscribe to Shankar IAS Academy YouTube channel. Now, thank you so much for listening.